Reminder: this video was already finished about less than 2 months ago. This was originally made for a compilation episode of animation Cancellation, but was reworked into a separate episode last minute. Also, apologies for not having a Spongebob style title card for this reminder. I was too lazy to do so. Also, stay tuned for a hint for episode 3 at the end of the video.
For episode 2 of Animation Cancellation, these were early drafts for the third SpongeBob movie, formerly known as It's a Wonderful Sponge, before being changed to Sponge on the Run later on. One storyline would have featured the gang exploring a live-action Atlantis setting, with Will Ferrell voicing the role of King Neptune. Unfortunately, due to fears of financially failing, as well as shifting directors, the project never made it too far in, despite some concept art being made. The second storyline is actually the most interesting in the sense of how ludicrous it actually is. This storyline would have focused on SpongeBob and the gang encountering Star Wars-esque evil cat alien creatures.
You what?
Yeah, it was pretty weird, but even weirder is that according to some concept art, it would have also indicated that Gary is apparently descended from a race of intergalactic snails, then would have had a Superman-esque origin story where he would have been sent down to Earth after his planet gets destroyed? Also, did I mention that this would have also have been the one where SpongeBob and Gary sacrificed themselves to a black hole?
What? What the fuck?
In short, this wasn't like the typical SpongeBob cartoon that everyone's familiar with. I mean, the second movie was already enough of an acid trip, but this kinda takes the cake. So they changed up the story so that it wouldn't be as bizarre or far-fetched. According to some higher-ups, Steven Hillenburg was more interested in the relatable and grounded world of SpongeBob. God bless his soul, by the way. Much like the last storyline, it didn't make it too far in, and it ended up only getting a good chunk of work for it done, including some artwork and storyboards. But that's about it. It was only just an early development, as said earlier. It was slated for release for February 9th of 2019, but was shifted to May 2020, in which the film was already reworked. But due to COVID-19, it was delayed from its May release to July, then released in theaters in Canada August 14th, then released in November on Netflix internationally, and finally on Paramount Plus in March 2021. Followed by the animated spin-off series Kamp Koral. From what I can see from the deleted storyboards as well as the dozens of concept art, it probably would have shown that the cats were the main antagonists, who were also the ones who destroyed Gary's home planet, at least in terms of what context this is set in. And then presumably after years passed since Gary would be Superman down to Bikini Bottom and meeting up with SpongeBob, the cat troopers would probably follow them by tracking down Earth and then hunting for Gary, at least from what I'm seeing. Otherwise, this is pretty damn weird, but I will say that it's tons more interesting than what we actually got. But don't get me wrong though, the actual movie we got now is okay. It has a great animation style and some funny moments. Except the problem is that I wish that it wasn't a rehash of the first film combined with an already existing episode, hence why it's basically the weakest of the bunch. On its own, it's a decent family film, but as a SpongeBob movie, especially for how good the first two predecessors were, it is disappointing to say the least. And no, before you ask, I'm not gonna dive too deep into the Kamp Koral controversy because everyone and their Puff Daddy has already done that shit for me, so I don't have to do it. But in all seriousness, as bizarre as the concept was, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have wanted to see where it was going. In fact, at least that would have been a lot more different compared to what we've got with the new SpongeBob movie, where it doesn't feel like it rehashes anything, but just wants to put some random shit in it to make it stand out. While it doesn't feel like SpongeBob, at least it does feel like, well, something. Even if that something turned out to be some nautical nonsense.
Oh, this music is making me angry.